Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be talking about the 2021 Doordash cheat codes, and that is my way of saying I'm going to give you guys the best tips and tricks that I possibly can think of and keep this video as short and as informational as possible. So for those of you who are new to Doordash and stuff, my name's Markley. I try to give you guys as many tips and tricks as I possibly can to help you guys go out there and make more money and save as much time as you possibly can. But before we get started, please give this video a nice big like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't, because it greatly helps out my channel quite a bit, and that's all I ask of you guys. So first of all, first thing is first. When you are door dashing, you got to decide what time you're going to be door dashing. That's probably the most important part. And personally, I would suggest the hours of 11 to 2 because that's like prime lunchtime. That's when everyone who's working a 9-to-5 job is out there ordering lunch, 11 to 2. And then from dinner time, which is around like either 4 to 9 or 5 to 9 or something like that. If you're gonna work an 8-hour day, let's say 4 to 9 is probably the best time for dinner time. And that's probably when you're gonna make the most amount of money. I try to only dash between those hours, otherwise I'm just gonna be like sitting around kind of wasting my time. Tip number 2 is driving to a good spot to be door dashing. You don't want to be just sitting at home where there's no restaurants near you, because whoever is closest to the restaurant is going to get the first pick on that order if they want to take it or not. So what you need to do is go to where I'm like is at a mall right now, an outdoor outlet mall where there's probably about like 20 different places that do DoorDash. That way I have the most amount of opportunities to get the best orders. Now, if you're somewhere like at your house or something, whoever's closest is gonna get those orders and you're just gonna be sitting around wasting a lot of time. For me, I live about 15 minutes away from like the actual city, and I don't get any orders when I'm at home. It's pretty rare that I get an order, so I can't just like log in and sit at home. Otherwise, I'm not gonna make very much money. Tip number 3 is you want to be selective on your orders. You don't want to just accept everything. If you accept every single order that comes in, you're just going to be wasting your time, because a lot of times these orders will come in and they are just totally not something you should be doing, and they are not worth the amount of money. Some people don't like to tip, and they'll give you like a $3 to $4 order to drive like 8 miles. That doesn't make any sense. So you got to actually put some standards behind the orders that you accept. Personally, I do $2 an order at least, or sorry, $2 a mile. At very minimum, I will take an order that is $1 a mile, only if it's pretty short, and I don't take anything that's less than $7. If I do, it's only gonna be for $6, and it's only if the order is like 1.5 miles or 2 miles, something super short. So otherwise, I'm not gonna be taking any orders that are more than $1 a mile, and that's a standard that you should really apply, especially if you're driving a car that doesn't get the greatest gas mileage. Like for example, I'm driving a Ford Explorer. It does not get the greatest gas mileage, so it's probably not a car that I want to just be driving around free miles in, you know? The shorter the orders, the more orders you can accept and take in an hour, the more money you are going to make. That is a fact. The more orders you can do, the more money you're going to make, and the more opportunities you have to make extra tips on the backs of people after the order is done. Number 4 is selecting the restaurants like carefully. Not only do you want to take into consideration like how much they're paying, but like you want to take into consideration like, does this place normally have really long lines? Because that can really screw up your order. If the order is going to be like sometimes the expensive restaurants, they take a really long time to prepare an order, and if that order isn't paying very well, like for example, if it's not paying more than $2 a mile, then you probably don't want to accept something like that, because it's going to take like 20 or 30 minutes just to get the food and then get going. And if you spend more than about 30 minutes on an order, you're probably not going to be making very much money that hour, just because of how much time it took you to do that one order. Tip number 5 is driving. Once you've picked up the order, you don't want to drive too fast, because when you're driving really fast, you're gonna spend a lot of your miles or your money on gas. What you want to do is drive as pretty much normal as you possibly can. Those extra 2 minutes that you save by driving fast, I don't even think you'll save 2 minutes. I think you'll save like 20 seconds or 30 seconds. The extra 20 or 30 seconds you'll save by driving slightly faster is not worth the like 3 to 4 miles per gallon less that you're gonna be getting, unless you're driving a Tesla. It's just not worth it. So save your miles, drive normal, and if you get a ticket, it's gonna ruin your day, and it's gonna ruin, like, a ticket is pretty much, depending on what state you live in, if you're in California, you're totally screwed. That's like a whole week of door dashing just gone. So just drive normal, drive as best as you possibly can. Drive like you're taking your test at the DMV, because if you get a ticket, it's gonna really screw up your work week. Tip number 6, I wanna go back to when you're selecting your orders, because I actually forgot this one. It's very important. When you're accepting an order and you're doing DoorDash, you're only given orders in a specific area. If you take an order that takes you way out of that area, unfortunately, you have to drive all the way back into that area to continue take orders. So what you wanna do is first accept orders that stay in that area. Next, if it does go out of the order or out of the area that you're dashing in, you wanna consider that, because you're gonna have to, instead of driving 5 miles to the place, you're gonna have to drive 5 miles back into the area that you're dashing. So try to accept orders that stay in your dashing area. Not only that, but if you can, this is something that I use all the time. When you look at the map of where it's taking you, if it can take you back to an area where there is other orders, that's gonna be so much better. So for example, I live in Las Vegas, there's a few malls, okay? So if I see an order that's taking me from one mall over towards another mall, it's probably not delivering to the mall, but if it's in that area, then I'm more inclined to take that order, because I'm gonna get an order right away after I deliver the other order. Tip number 7, now I know DoorDash is probably gonna hate me for saying this if they watch the video, but you gotta be dashing on multiple apps at one time. So if you can, get on like Postmates or get onto another app like Grubhub, preferably Grubhub, or Uber Eats, because the more opportunities you have, the more apps that are open, the more opportunities you have to make extra money. So if you're only doing one, you only have the chances that DoorDash is gonna give you. If you're doing DoorDash and Postmates, let's say they both give you an order at the same time and they're both going the exact same direction, which actually happens quite often. I quite frequently get multiple orders at a time. I typically only use DoorDash though, and I don't take Postmates orders alone, because Postmates just kind of sucks compared to DoorDash. So if you can, try to have multiple apps and try to get logged into and signed up with multiple apps at one time, because you're gonna make more money if you're doing multiple apps at one time. Again, you have to take that with a grain of salt, because if you're not very good at dashing and you haven't been doing this for a long time and you don't have a lot of experience, you don't want to be accepting too many orders, especially because that can really screw up an order, and you could get deplatformed if you're just like, if you have consistent late orders or something like that. So try to only accept them if they're like, a lot of times I will get orders from the same exact restaurants on 2 different apps and they will go in the same exact direction. So I tend to make double money. A lot of times, it's not super frequent that it happens, but usually like once or twice a day, you'll get a double order. All right, tip number 8. Now this is probably gonna be a watered down tip, because nowadays with COVID, there's not as much like contact to contact deliveries, so you don't have as much of an opportunity to make a good impression on the person as you used to. I used to suggest that you always like smile and do as much as you possibly can to comfort the person who's ordering, like if the order is late and any of that good stuff, like anything happens. Try to contact your customer, that way you have the best chance of getting a tip at the end of the day or at the end of the order. But nowadays, like there's so many contactless deliveries, it's like they don't even see you and it gives them a good reason to not tip you or something. I find that I do make a little bit less tips after I've delivered an order now that there's more contactless delivery. But who knows? So this tip's gonna be just a little bit watered down. But still, if you can, and if you do see a customer, just always smile, because you only have like 5 seconds to make a good impression. All right, tip number 9. Now this one's not necessarily something involving DoorDash, but you wanna have something going at the same time as like DoorDash. For one, you don't wanna just be sitting here doing absolutely nothing. Like for example, I'm talking to you guys and I'm making a YouTube video where I make a little bit of money on the side. I also work on my footwear company and other businesses that I have going. So DoorDash is just like a side hustle for me. There's many different things you could do, and even if you don't have like another business or something, you could, this sun is getting so blinding. if you could, then you could either read like an audio book, or there's many other things that you could be doing. So try to have something on the side. You don't want to just be sitting here listening to music, kind of wasting your time. Personally, I think that's a waste of time if you're just sitting here, because DoorDash is the perfect opportunity to do secondary things, and you have the freedom of doing like accepting an order or not accepting an order. And there's so much freedom with this platform that it allows you to do so many different things. And if you're just sitting around, you might as well either be learning or working on your career or doing something productive. So those are pretty much all the tips that I have for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please again give it a thumbs up. I try to help you guys out as much as I possibly can by giving out as much free information as I possibly can. And if you guys haven't yet, please subscribe and check out my footwear company. It is called Off Axis Acrobatics, and you can check it out at offaxisacrobatics.com. Use my discount code OffAxisTanner. We make the best acrobatic footwear in the game. They're also like casual wear shoes. We have a couple different models out, and we sponsor athletes like Tony Ferguson, UFC fighter, and many other top of the line extreme sports athletes. So thank you guys for tuning into my channel. Again, my name is Tanner Markley. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.